All right, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Roscoe's Ramblings. It's a beautiful day here in Reno, Nevada. Hot as all get out, but so is the rest of the nation, so we'll take the sun while we got it. This video is going to be overall my view on the 53-man roster that was just made yesterday. Cuts all around the NFL. Teams have began to sign their practice squad members as well, including the Seattle Seahawks. I won't be covering that in this video necessarily, but there might be some highlights throughout. I think that we made some necessary cuts, a couple of confusing ones, but I've watched Pete Carroll for his entire tenure as our coach, and I've agreed and disagreed with him several times, and that's just kind of how it goes as a fan. You're not going to think that your team's doing everything 100% right all the time, but you got to get behind, the train as it pulls out of the station. So let's get into the breakdown. We'll start with the offense because that's typically the more fun side of the ball to talk about. It's fantasy relevance, all those kinds of things. So starting off with probably our weakest position group, which is unfortunate due to the fact that it is the most important position in all of sports, the quarterback. We're going into the season right now, you guys, with QB1 is Geno Smith. He won the job over Drew Lock, who is the other quarterback that we kept on the roster. He came over, obviously, in the Russell Wilson trade. I was really pulling for Drew Lock. He definitely has a higher ceiling. We kind of know what Geno is. He's the safe guy, right? He's the safe bet. He didn't throw any picks, but he didn't throw any touchdowns this preseason. He just kind of put out regular looking tape. Nothing bad, nothing good. Now, with a Pete Carroll offense, we're going to want to pound the rock anyway, so we're not going to ask either guy to be the 30 to 40 pass attempt kind of guy anyway. We can be successful with Geno, but I do still think that at some point we will bring in Drew Lock. Who knows how many weeks into the season, but we got to find out what that kid's really got, because if we don't, we're definitely going to be drafting a quarterback high in next year's draft, which everybody's saying is loaded. There could be anywhere from 4 to 6 quarterbacks that go in the first round of next year's draft. I don't want to look that too far into the future. I want to be optimistic about this year, but based off of what I saw this preseason, you guys, I'm not as confident as I was when I made our prediction video. I had us at 8 and 9, which I thought was, quite favorable. Gave us a couple of homerism games. My heart is really questioning those now at this point due to what I saw over our 3 games in the preseason. We had pretty sloppy penalties that I didn't think needed to happen. Luckily we've gotten out pretty healthy. We had a scare with Damian Lewis, our left guard, but he only has an ankle sprain. He should be coming back. But anyway, so that's our quarterbacks. We're going to get into the running backs next. No surprise there. Rashad Penny is coming off of a crazy last 6 weeks of the last season. He is supposed to have gotten right. He was kind of nursing a hamstring earlier this preseason. He hasn't played, but they put him on the healthy marker moving forward. So he's going to be our RB1. Then we're going to have Ken Walker, who's coming back from hernia surgery. They originally said that he should make it back for week 1, but that's a wild card. He probably should rest a couple of weeks, as we do have decent depth in DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, both of whom looked pretty good, especially DJ. He was running hard, man. He wanted that spot. So I think he's going to get some touches week 1, sprinkled in with Penny. We'll see how it all works out. So the 4 running backs we got there, Penny, Walker, DJ Dallas, and Travis Homer. I'm pretty happy with that group. We could, add another one depending, but pretty solid group moving forward. So I'm actually re-recording this video because I did a full 20-minute video previously today that didn't include the tight ends. Then I watched a video with Will Dissly, and it hit me right in the face that I didn't include tight ends. So I could not upload that other video. I had to redo this. And as I'm going along, I'm essentially giving you a brand new take. This is Roscoe's Ramblings. We don't write anything down. It just comes off the top, y'all. So our 3 tight ends that we have kept, Obviously, Will Dissly, we signed him this offseason to a 3-year, $24 million extension, which we need to give him more opportunities. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can work. He can block. The dude's legit. We need to get him more touches, period. We also have Noah Fant, who came over in the Denver trade as well. He has all the athleticism that you want out of a tight end. I really hope we can build a rapport with him. He's under contract for a couple of years, so that could be a really big signing for us. That could really help propel us forward as this unit gets, more cohesive. And then the third, his name is Colby Parkinson. He's a big boy out of Stanford. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", something like that. But he made it on his pass catching. He's a pass catching tight end, pretty good over the middle and the seam, whatnot. So those 3 tight ends, I actually think that's a pretty strong group for us. And Noah Fant really needs to take the reins there. He could be a 1,200-yard guy if, we feed him the rock enough. Same with Dissly. Get him on. Run those 11s, right? 2 tight end sets. Let's get it. Good tight end group, I think. Moving into our wide receivers, this is probably the first group that I saw that I had some mild disagreement. Well, not a mild disagreement. We should have kept Freddie Swain. I thought he was more than good enough over the last couple of years to have earned a spot. I don't know what they didn't see out of him this offseason. I know he kind of had a few drops in the preseason, but it's going to happen to everybody. He's going to have 100% proof, preseason. So going there with our wide receivers, obviously, led off with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, the stones of the wide receiver. They are the rocks. They are the rock stars. They are the guys that always get 1,000 yards. Now that's with Russell Wilson under center. Remains to be seen how many times we're going to throw each way, with Geno or Drew under center. But Lockett played just a wee bit in the last preseason game, played a drive, got 2 catches, 35 yards, looked as beautiful as always, beautiful crossing routes, great footwork, great hands. Kid's electric. Love me some Tyler Lockett. DK Metcalf, absolute animal. He can take over a game, but unfortunately sometimes he can disappear, as we've seen, or he can let his emotions run too high. But those 2 guys, we really need them to step up as well. They should. Consummate professionals, And DK has emphasized about wanting to become a leader, being that he is now more of a veteran presence with us trading Russ away and all those kinds of things. So big hopes and expectations for the 2 of them. Behind them, our slot guy is going to probably be D. Eskridge. We drafted him last year, but he had concussion issues and wasn't at full strength. So we're really hopefully going to get to see what he has to offer. That position could also go to Penny Hart. I saw him play a lot in the preseason. He had some stuff to offer. Get him in space. He's a jittery little. He's a Tyreek Hill-esque. I would never compare anybody to the Cheetah. He's a standalone guy, but he's in that same vein. And then Derek Young, which was a 7th round pick that we threw a flyer on. The kid is an absolute freak of an athlete. I think that's why Pete decided to keep him. He wants to see if he can really, hone in those skills and make him an NFL wide receiver, because he's like 6'3", 220, and runs like a goddamn 4.3. Stud, freak, whatever you want to call him. The kid just needs to learn coverages and different routes, and he should make it. He should be fine in the NFL. So our other draft pick, Bo Melton, we signed him to the practice squad, so I thought that was good. We got to keep that connection going there. But wide receivers, obviously at the top, very confident. The rest of them remains to be seen. And I would have more confidence if we had better QB play going into this season, thinking that, we could spread the ball around and really, access some talent from these new guys. But those are question marks. It's hopefully going to pan out for us in that direction. But, in a pass-happy league, you would like to think that we could make DK and Tyler another 1,000-yard receivers. But Geno Smith is a safe guy. Who knows how many downfield balls he's going to throw. So those are the skilled positions. Let's hit the offensive line. We are going to go into this season with rookie tackles. I believe, at starters. Abe Lucas, our third round pick, and Charles Cross, our first round pick. Both looked pretty good in preseason, which was actually, very helpful. I think that we really needed to hit on those two draft picks, and now, knock on wood, we haven't seen any real gameplay, but during the preseason they held their own. Couple of penalties on Charles during the Bears game, which was week 2, but he's got time to learn and correct. So I think, it could very, very much help us to get younger and quicker at that position. Dwayne Brown, was great, but often injured and also just kind of slowed down as he got into older age. And that right tackle, we have not been able to figure out our right tackle for ages, man. We were rotating guys like George Fant and Jermaine Ifedi and just all these guys for, years on end that just were not getting the job done. So hopefully Abe Lucas can buck that trend. The middle of our line, I think, is actually a strength for us going into this upcoming season. Like I mentioned earlier, Damian Lewis, a guard, I believe this is going to now be his third year. He was an all-rookie, his rookie year, obviously. Got hurt a little bit last year, and he avoided a scare this year in preseason. He rolled his ankle, but he should be fine. So Damian Lewis, look for big things out of him. Our center is going to be Austin Blythe, who we signed from the Rams in this preseason. So he's got Super Bowl caliber under his belt. Let's hope that he can build a good rapport with any of the quarterbacks that we may or may not start. And then for our right guard is going to be Gabe Jackson. We traded for him from the Raiders a couple years ago. Stalwart. The dude is legit. Guy is, a bruiser in the trenches. So, honestly, I got to say that starting 5, I got a decent amount of faith in if they can gel. Young overall, but, quick and should mold into, one of the better lines, at least one of the better Seattle lines. For God's sakes, we've been, ridiculed over, I would say, the last 5, maybe even 10 years about how bad our offensive line is. Well, not 10 years because we won a Super Bowl. Whoop, whoop, let's go, boys. But yeah, the last 5 years we've had a really tough go at offensive line. Even though we've put equity there, we just haven't popped. We haven't found the dude. So hopefully Charles Cross and Abe Lucas buck that trend, like I was saying earlier. Also, Phil Haynes is a good swing guard. He can play left or right, depending on where we need him. Kyle Fuller is the backup at center, but he can play guard as well. And then we have Stone Forsythe, and I believe his name is Jacob Curran. They both played a little bit last year. Jake more so at that right tackle than Stone, but I'm really hoping that we let Abe kind of find his way in the right tackle battle. He should be able to take that and run with it. So surprisingly good depth at the offensive line, barring health and any crazy things that might pop up. The NFL season's always unpredictable, but. That is our complete offense, including tight ends in this video, thank goodness. Let's go ahead and hop over to the defensive side of things. Our defensive line, let's go ahead and start in the center of it. Puna's coming back, Mr. Big Puna Ford. He's a boss, great run stopper. We are also bringing back Brian Monet and Big Al Woods, just absolute beasts of men, 300-plus pounders that can plug up the middle and take double teams. We also have Shelby Harris, who I didn't mention in the first edit of this video that I think he could be a great addition to our team. He should come in and make an instant impact up the middle, good run stuffer, even a great pass rusher, which is nice because we don't have a lot of that in the middle of our line. So good defensive tackles. Quentin Jefferson as well also made this team. So, we're trying to go deep at that line position. Then you have your edge rushers, which include L.J. Collier, our first-round pick from, I believe, 2019. However, we've declined his option, so he will be a free agent at the end of this year. Rasheem Green, who has made some strides. He's been pretty good. And then, it's funny because I think our other edge rushers are actually classified as linebackers, which are Uchenna Nwosu and Darrell Taylor. Don't let me forget about Darrell Taylor. That man has the ability to be potentially a Pro Bowler, if not an All Pro. The guy has, great bend off the corner, great speed. He's got a motor that never quits. Just seems like a good dude overall. I'm really pulling for this kid to take the step forward for our franchise. But that, like I said, kind of bleeds into the linebackers due to the idea that we're shifting over to a 3-4 from a 4-3. So we're going to have more linebackers that are going to be kind of edge rushers. They're going to be hybrids. They're going to be playing a little bit of both. They're going to be asked to rush the passer as well as drop back in the flats and pick up those running backs and maybe even over the middle for tight ends and all that kind of stuff. But our linebacking core is young, very young. We're obviously led by Jordan Brooks. He gets the green dot as we did cut Bobby Wagner, which I do not agree with Seattle to this day. I thought we could have restructured his deal. I thought that was a really, really poor move. Maybe we just wanted to give Jordan more of the power. We wanted to give him the green dot so he could captain. I don't know. He was a stud last year, and moving forward, he should be for every year that he's healthy. So I do have faith in him. Cody Barton, who has been making his name on special teams over the last couple of years, and he's gotten some real time, in the 11s on defense. So he's been playing with the ones. He's a great tackler, really head smart, knows the game very well. So I have no problem there. I think that he should take another step forward. Like I said, Uchenna Nwosu, I think that was our best offseason move that we made. He is going to be an animal. I'm also going to backtrack real quick because as I was thinking about this, for our edge rushers, our second round pick, Boye Mafe, watch out, that's a name to keep an eye on, okay? He's another one. We got him out of Minnesota this year that he was pretty highly touted, and I think he can make some noise. We need to bring the pass rush, you guys. We haven't had it the last handful of years. It's going to be imperative if our defense can stand up and you win us some games. So linebackers, I am reasonably happy with, I suppose. I would say that, outside of Brooks, it's a lot of potential, not necessarily guarantees, but we are young, we are fast. That plays well into a 3-4 scheme that Clint Hurt is trying to bring in. First year that we've been running that, and I can't even tell you when. All of our last D coordinators were a 4-3 base. It was a real straightforward lineup and, try to beat them. So that's the front and the middle of our team. On the back end, obviously the safeties are led by Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Those guys are amazing. I would take Quandre over Jamal any day just due to the fact that his coverage skills are superior and he's just as fast, just as hard hitting. But we need Jamal Adams, you guys. We gave up so much equity for this dude, and he had one good season, pretty great, if you will. He reset, records for quarterback sacks by a secondary player, but that's his gift. That's pretty much where he excels at. His cover skills are lacking. So hopefully he's taken the offseason to work on that. He did have a broken finger, which they didn't medically repair. They said that he was just going to wear a special splint through the season. So hopefully that doesn't slow down his catching abilities. To be fair, not that he had very great ones to begin with, but, he needs all the help we can get. So Quandre and Jamal are the starters for sure. And then there's Ryan Neal. One of the disagreements I did have, I cannot believe that Marquise Blair did not make this team. I thought he was a surefire. He had been injured the last couple of years, but he was going to be our nickel guy. We traded Ugo Amadi. Our secondary, I thought we had some guys that we've been building over the last couple of years, and then we either cut them or deal them. So we're going pretty fresh-faced. Cornerbacks include Sidney Jones and Artie Burns. Those are the veterans, if you will. And then we're really young outside of that. Our two draft picks, Tariq Woolen, who is basically DK Metcalf as a cornerback. He's a la Richard Sherman, obviously not to the level that Sherm played at for those 3 to 5 years where he was, the man. But he has all the athletic ability. We just got to hone him in. He transferred to cornerback. He's only played 2 years collegiately at cornerback. He was a wide receiver to begin with. So he's got all the speed, the hands, all those kinds of things. He's just got to learn body control, coverage, schemes, those kinds of things. But KJ Wright said that he should start week 1. I don't know if I agree with that, but KJ knows a lot more about football than I do. And then also Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati. He did have the benefit of starting all of his games last year next to Sauce Gardner, who was the 4th overall pick, I believe, in this year's draft and never surrendered a collegiate touchdown in his career. So he got tested a lot. I thought he looked pretty good in preseason. I wouldn't say that he was as good as I was hoping for, but, rookies can always take their own time. Sometimes they can pop quick. Sometimes it takes them a couple of years. You just hope that, he gets his feet under him and doesn't make any bonehead decisions and, he plays solid. So those are the cornerbacks / secondary as well. We did also bring in, it's a great name, Michael Jackson, right? You got to be able to get behind that. But that guy was a ball in this preseason. I didn't see him on my radar at all, but he was flying around. Watch out for him, number 30. That kid's going to be smacking fools later in the season. So speed, talent, some open ends, it's all about cohesiveness, right? How we can bring it together. If we can, grow into a one unit that can, communicate and play well. There's a lot of potential, but not a lot of known. There's not a lot of known talent on our defense. So it's a question mark across all 3 layers. I do want to have faith that our D can stop, when they need to, but we'll see. We've had a pretty historically bad defense these last couple of years. So anything's better than what we've been surrendering, at least yards-wise, over the last couple of years. Now, you don't score on us too much. We were bend, don't break. We've been that way forever and a half. We won't give you a lot of points in the red zone, but you can, in between the 20s, a lot of teams will tear us up. And then a shout-out, I don't want to miss these guys, our special teams. Have been the same 3 guys that I believe it's now going on year 4. Michael Dixon, the punter. Best offensive weapon we're going to have this year. My dad and I always joke about that. The guy is all pro material every year. Guy's got 50 off the foot, with his eyes closed. Great location. Michael Dixon's the truth. It's Tyler Ott, is our long snapper. He has been for a while. Not too much glory there, but, a good long snapper helps. And then our kicker, Jay Myers, is coming back. He's had an up and down time in Seattle. There are some times where he's absolutely money, and then there's other times where he just pushes things, and you can't explain why and how. And if you get the good version of Myers, he could be a top 5, top 10 kicker. You get the bad version of Myers, he could be cut. We could be looking for somebody new. I want to put all my faith in the guy, you know what I mean? He's been with us now, like I said, for 3 years, so hopefully year 4 is the ticket. That's the breakdown of our 53-man roster. Please like, subscribe, comment if there's anything that you agree with, disagree with, want to add, maybe something I forgot, maybe something I didn't mention that, as I said, this comes off the top. I definitely probably forgot a name or 2 here and there. For goodness sakes, I'm re-recording this entire thing because I forgot the tight end position group. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Enjoy the rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, whenever you may be watching this, and I will talk to you guys soon.